Hey, happy Thursday, y'all. Um, hey, I hope all is well. Today is our last day of actual work day this week. Tomorrow is going to be a catch-up day. We're going to do that for the rest of the year. We're going to go Monday through Thursday. Friday's a catch-up day, okay, to try and get you caught up. So yesterday there was a little ed puzzle. It wasn't very long. It was 6 minutes long, and it taught you how to name acids. So we've learned about what are acids. We've looked at different definitions of acids. We've looked at some different types of common household items that are acids. We've looked at conjugate acids. But the one thing we hadn't talked about was how to name them. So yesterday we learned how to name them. Today I wanted to do some practice. So if you go to Google Classroom, I've linked into there a worksheet, a Google Doc that has acids, where you need to take the formula and name it, and then vice versa, take the name and give the formula. So I'm going to go through them. We'll do one at a time. We'll go right through them. As I do it, you can write it in. Now, again, as always, if this is too easy or you're getting it, you can just push pause or stop and do the worksheet yourself and you're done. But if you're like, I'm not sure, and you want to just go through it as I go through it, awesome. And then again, as always, you can go old school. You can see I did the worksheet this morning, okay? And I literally did it like this. Okay, I wrote it down. That's my worksheet. So if I were you, I would take a picture of that, turn it in, you're done. If you'd rather do the split screen thing and put it in the Google Doc, great. However you want to do it, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you got it done and then click turn in and you're done for the week. Okay, not bad. So let's run through it. Now, before I jump in and just do the worksheet, I put together a little slide, and this slide was supposed to kind of be a summary of what you learned yesterday. So first things first, and let's see if we can get this to work. Okay, first things first, we talked about acids yesterday. And the one thing that is unique about acids is there are some rare exceptions, but acids in general begin with an H. They begin with a hydrogen. So if you are looking for the rest of the year, if you're looking and you see a formula and it says H something, in your mind, you should think, ooh, I bet that's an acid. Now that isn't always true, right? Water, H2O, can be an acid, but remember, water can also be a base. So just because it starts with an N doesn't automatically make it an acid, but that's a pretty good like indicator. Ooh, I bet it's an acid. Then the second thing, I think, the video talked about, does it have oxygen? Does it not have oxygen? That's a great way to look at it. Now, another way, and the way I was taught, is say, well, how many elements are in that compound? Is it two or is it three? Now, if it's three, that's more than two. It could be four, it could be five, but really two or three are usually what we look at. So if I have two elements in there, I'm going to take this path here. All right. And the way it works is if there's two elements, I know if I go to name something, that name is going to start with hydro and it's going to end with ic. So then all I have to do is I have to take that other element, right? There's two. The first one's going to be H. And that second element, I'm going to take the stem or the root of that word, and I'm going to place it between hydro and ic. So for example, if I had HCl, that's two elements. H, it starts with H, so it's an acid, and Cl, hydrogen and chlorine. So if I saw that, I'd say, ooh, here it is. Two elements. I'm going to start with hydro. I'm going to end with ic. And I'm going to take the stem of the second word. So this is chlorine. I'm going to take that stem and put it in the middle, and I get hydrochloric acid. And that would be my name. Okay? So anytime you see, did it not work? Anytime you see two elements, you know, hey, I'm going to go this direction. Oh, what did I do? No, that's not going to work for me. Okay. Two elements, I'm going to go that way. What if I have 3 or 4? And by the way, if there's 3 or 4, you bet your butt you're going to have oxygen in there. Okay. Now, again, doesn't change. It still starts with an H. But if I have 3, now my naming rule is different. Okay. First thing, before I jump into the naming, realize if I have more than 2 elements, if I have 3 or 4, that's what we call, I don't know if you remember, but we had a whole, on the back of your periodic table that I gave you, there was this thing called a polyatomic ion list. Do you remember those? It's a polyatomic, it's many atoms put together. So to do this, to understand it, I got to go to my table, my polyatomic ion table. And you might be going, I don't have that anymore. So on the second page of the worksheet, I gave you this right here. Okay. And so if you look down, here's the names. Here's the names. And sorry, OMS. Here's the names. And then next to them is the polyatomic ion. It's the multiple elements that make up that one compound. Okay, so if I have, going back again, if I have 3 or more elements, I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to use my common ion table. Now, here's the deal. If that polyatomic ion ends in 8, that tells me how I'm going to name it. First of all, there is no hydro. Notice over here is hydro, but if there's 3 or more elements, I don't start with hydro. I jump right into the stem of the name. And all I do, if it's 8, I change it to ick. If it's ite, I change it to us. So for example, let's say you had HNO3. That is 1, 2, 3 elements, H, N, and O. So I'd go this way. I'd go, all right, HNO3. I'd have to go to my polyatomic ion. I'd go, all right, where is HNO3? All right. Well, H is hydrogen, so I got to find NO3. Here it is, down here. NO3 is nitrate. Okay, so I go, all right, nitrate, the stem is, that's what I need, is nitrate. Okay, there's the stem, nitro, and then I'm going to add ic, so it becomes nitric acid, done. Well, what if I had HNO2? Again, that's 1, 2, 3, so I go this way. I find the polyatomic ion table, okay? NO2 is right above it. That's nitrite. So notice nitrate and nitrite, same thing, just the ending is different. So if it ends in ite, I'm going to use the same stem, which is nitra, right? The stem is still nitra, but ite becomes us, and so I get nitrous acid. Okay, so this is like a little key to figure out how to name them. So let's do this. I'm going to clear my ink up. Okay, and then let's go through. I'm going to clear this ink too. Okay, let's go through and name them. So right here, I have listed what's on your worksheet. The first one is HCl. So that was our example, if you remember. So here I go, 2 or 3 elements, right? H1, Cl2. So I'm going to go this way. So it's going to start with hydro. I can move my big face out of the way. So I'm going to start with hydro. Wow, that's hard to write. And then chlorine is the second one. So remember the rule. If it's chlor is the stem, I'm going to keep chlor, but I'm going to change the ending to ic. So hydro hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid. That's the first one. Done. Okay, let's do the second one. HI. Well, help me out. Is that 1 or is that 2? That's 2, right? There's H and there's I. So again, I'm going to go to the left. I'm going to start with hydro, and I need my stem. Well, stem of what? What I'm looking at is that second element, the I. I is iodine. So let's start it out. So it's 2, so I'm going to start with hydro again. Hydro. Then iodine is I-O-D-I. Now, instead, the stem there is iode. So iode, and then it's got to end with ic. Hydroiodic acid. Done. Hydroiodic acid. Now, I know my handwriting is really crummy on this slide. I apologize for that. I don't know how to do it better. I'm using my stinking finger. It doesn't work. Okay, let's do the next one. H2SO4. So right away I go, how many is it? H, S, and 4. Excuse me. H, S, and O. Now I have 2 H's and I have 4 O's, but it's still just 3 different elements. So what happens? Now I got to go this way. Okay, I have oxygen in there. I got to find my ionic table, my polyatomic ion list. So here we go. It starts with H, so we're good, but SO4. So I got to look over on the right and say, where is SO4? And I look down, I look over, okay, right here. If you look closely, I see SO4. SO4, as I followed over, is sulfate. Okay, well, sulfate, 8 is going to turn to ic. My stem is sulf. So to name it, all right, here we go. I'm just going to start with, there's no hydro. I'm just going to go sulfic acid. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The actual name of this, some people call it sulfic acid, and that's not wrong. The technical name for this is sulfuric acid. That kind of breaks one of the rules, so we're not going to worry about it. Sulfuric acid or sulfic acid is great. Okay, next one, here we go, HBr4, H1Br2O3. So again, I'm going to go this direction. 3 elements. I got to find the ion table. So here we go. Common polyatomic ions, BrO4. Where is BrO4? Where is BrO4? I see BrO3. Do I not have it on this table? So this is a partial list. It's not a complete list. Oh, that's a typo. That's why. That should say HBrO3. Mistake on my worksheet. So change that for me, turn that into a 3. So here we go. BrO3, there it is. Bromate. Okay, so what's the rule? The rule, I go to the right. Bromate, 8 turns to ic. I don't start with hydro. I start right from the stem and go to the ic. So what's the stem of bromate? Is brome. I'm going to change 8 to ic. Bromic acid. Done. Okay, let's keep going. H3P. Okay, oh, hey, there's only 2 there. H and P. So now I go this way, 2 elements. Right, I'm coming over here. It's going to start with hydro. It's going to end in ic. What's my stem? Well, what is P? P is phosphorus. That's what P is. So if you looked on your periodic table, P is phosphorus. So the stem there is phosphor. Okay, so it's going to start with an H. It's a long one. Hydro. Phosphorus is the name. Phosphor is my stem. And then I'm going to ic. Hydrophosphoric acid. Okay. Three more. H2CrO4. There's 3 there. So I'm going to go to the right side of the table. I got to find CrO4 over here in my periodic table. CrO4, here it is. It's chromate. So chrome is my stem. 8, remember the rule, 8 turns to ic. Okay, so it's chromic acid. Okay, chromic acid. And again, my handwriting is awful. I'm so sorry. 2 more. H2Cr. There's only 2. So what's the rule? I'm going to go to the left. It's going to start with hydro. It's going to start with or end with ic. And then what's the stem? Well, Cr on my periodic table is chromium. Okay, what's the root word is chrome. What's the stem? Chrome. So now the difference is it's going to be the same as chromic acid, but it's got to start with hydrochromic acid. So this one is chromic acid. This one is hydrochromic acid. Why? Well, this one has 2. This one has 3. And the last one, HBr, there's 2. So it's going to start with hydro. Hydro. Br is bromine. So brom is my stem. And I got to change it to ic. Hydrobromic acid. Okay, guys, that's a lot, but that's how to name them, okay? The last step is I'm going to flip them upside down and say, well, what happens if I give you the name? Can you give me the formula? Okay, well, let's look what we got. I only have 6 of these. So the first one is hydrofluoric acid. Well, what the crap? Well, what does it start with? It starts with hydro. So if I go back a slide, remember, if it starts with hydro, that's my indicator. Hey, there's only 2 elements in this. The first one I know is always H. Okay, so H, hydrofluoric. Okay, it's going to end in ic. What is the stem? Is fluor. What does fluor come from? That comes from fluoride. And that's just F. HF, hydrofluoric acid. Okay, let's do another one. Hydro. Well, they're all going to start with H, right? I could right now just go right down the list. They're acids. They all start with H's. Hydroxyic acid. What is the, again, I go back, hydroic, there's 2, it starts with hydro. What's the stem? Oxic. Okay, well, what's ox? Ox is oxygen, HO. Now, we could stop there, but remember the charge thing. We have ionic compounds here, right? H is a +1, O is a -2. Oh, that's a long time ago. Remember, those charges don't balance, so we drop and switch. So the -2 from the O comes down and whoop, comes over to the H. The +1 from the H, whoop, goes down, whoop, to the O. And so what I end up with when I drop and switch them is what'd I do? H2O. When water is an acid, it's actually technically hydroxyl acid. Okay. How about the next one, nitrous acid? Well, it doesn't start with hydro. So right now I know it's not a 2 element. I got to come over to the 3. Hydrous, right? It ends in us. Well, right now, nitrous, right now, us, here's us. Oops, here's, bummer. Here's us. That tells me, hey, it must have been an ite. And what's the stem? The stem is nitra. Well, that's nitrogen, right? Well, if I look over on the right side, I'm looking at my polyatomic ion list. I'm going, all right, where's some nitrogen and some oxygen? All right, oh, okay, here it goes. NO2 is nitrite. Remember, ite becomes us. So HNO2 is nitrous acid. That's the example we use. HNO2. Okay? 3 more. Sulfurous. It doesn't start with hydro, so I know I got to come to the right. Okay, sulfurous, us. It ends in us. So here's us. I know it must be an ite. What's my stem? Well, the stem is sulfur. Is there an SO that ends in ite? Yeah, right below. Here we go. Here's a sulfite, SO3. There it is. HSO3 is sulfurous acid. Look at the next one below it, sulfuric acid. What's the difference between these two? One is us, one is ick, huh? Well, look at here. One is us, one is ick. We just did us. Well, what's the ick? Well, instead of an ite, it must be an 8. So is there a sulfate? Sure it is, right above the last one we did. Here's the sulfate. It's not SO3, it's SO4. Now again, this is getting technical, but if you look over on that little sulfate, it's a -2. H is a +1. SO4 is a -2. Those don't, so we got to drop and switch because they don't balance. So technically it's H2. Oh, I hate that. H2SO4. Last one, phosphoric acid. Okay, again, ick comes from an 8. What's my root? Phosphorus. Okay, so if it's ick, it came from an 8. Here's my phosphate, becomes phosphoric. Okay, and what is it? It's PO4. Now, it's a -3. Again, H is a +1, -3, they don't balance, so I drop and switch. That -3 comes down here, and it's H3PO4. So that's a lot, guys. I don't know if you can read this. Here's maybe a little bit better handwriting. Push pause in your video. Those are the names from the formulas. Here are the formulas from the names. Okay, guys, that's a lot. I don't expect you to memorize it or use it. What I do want you to be able to do is, can you use this chart and your polyatomic ion list up here? Okay, if you need help, don't worry about it. Email me, call me. We can Google Hangout, whatever. But let's make sure you get this done. When you're done, turn it in. You're done. Okay, guys, have a great Thursday. Again, tomorrow is going to be a catch-up day. Just a last reminder, no chemistry live today. We're taking a week off. Guys, have a great weekend. If I don't talk to you, hear from you, miss you. We'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.